Hello, Anthem family of churches. Welcome to our weekly, and we're really excited to be with you guys. I'm Matt Larson. I lead Anthem Church in Thousand Oaks.
I'm Kevin Bailey. I lead Anthem Camarillo.
Bert Alcorn in Ventura.
Sir.
We wanted to take a few minutes each week leading up to Celebrate Generosity to talk through just some of the heart behind the various initiatives that we're doing, where the money is going. And so I want to talk a little bit about it, share a little bit of story, and kind of roll with it.
Yeah, and of course, this is an interesting time for us. We're in this weird space where we can't all be together. We are missing that for sure. And this is the first time in 11 years that we're not doing this legitimately all together on the 18th. And so this is both a bit of a bummer, but at the same time, we're grateful for this opportunity to be able to still communicate, connect with each other, and make sure that we continue our relationship together as a family of churches. And so I'm going to start the conversation around the idea of global generosity. When we started Anthem a long time ago, we came from Matt doing a residency at a church out in Chicago with Dave and John Ferguson, and they had this beautiful idea of, they called it Celebrate Generosity, and that's where one time a year they gave away their offering, to some initiatives. And so one of the things that Matt got in his training out there was like, man, this is a beautiful discipline to have. And so as a brand new church, we said, hey, we want to make this part of what we do on our anniversary. We want to encourage our people to demonstrate generosity, and we want to give away everything that comes in and send it outside the doors. And so as we did, we started asking the questions of, well, what are we going to give towards? And one of the key areas that we realized that we needed to be involved in was global initiatives. In some way, shape, or form, we needed to be involved globally. And we knew that if we didn't set the precedent early, it would be really hard to start developing that over the years. But in doing so, we also knew one of the ways that God's called us and wired us is to work through relationship and not just, pick something out of a random hat and say, here's this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But one of the things that we've been excited about over the years is to cultivate a relationship with two groups in particular. That's Touch Nepal and Zoe International. And so I'm going to let these guys talk about those a little bit.
Touch Nepal is a story that's been pretty exciting for us to partner with over the years. We've really gotten to know Mark and the team. Mark is a part of Anthem Thousand Oaks, and he oversees the American side of Touch Nepal and just does a really good job facilitating ministry with these guys. Just 2 years ago, I got a chance to go out to Nepal with Tyler, my son, and we got to go see the remote area pastors training and how things are taking shape. We didn't go to one of the actual trainings, but we went to one of the villages that they're doing the training in. And it was such an incredible opportunity to see the far-reaching nature of the work that they're doing. And also, and this is maybe our favorite thing, is that it was actually led by indigenous Nepali believers, that the work that is happening in Nepal is very Nepali-led. And so it was just a thrill to be able to go. I mean, we were like way out in the hills, motorcycle ride for 3.5 hours, went really far out there. And just to see these guys that, there's no reason that anybody would go up to this village unless you live there. Yeah. Well, they're getting training to raise up their people and shepherd the flock that's entrusted to them in these remote areas. It was really exciting.
Yeah. That's so cool. Nepal has been such an encouraging place to visit, to see, having gone out a few times myself. But I love that came from something that was already happening. Like, we didn't create Touch Nepal. Like, it was something that was already going on. And so we had friends like Mark Avery and Adam Finley and others who were a part of this and said, hey, come see what God is doing. Yeah. And we jumped into that. Yeah. And it's been such a blessing to see that grow and now see legitimately hundreds of lives changed as a result from that. And I'm not saying it's specifically from our dollars, but from the generosity that's come out of Anthem over the years, legitimately, like, lives have been changed and nations are being impacted. And that's been a beautiful thing.
So, Bert, you've got a unique perspective in that you're one that hasn't been to Nepal yet of the three of us. Mm-hmm. What's it like in terms of your connection to Touch Nepal, specifically having not been on the ground, not seen these mountains, not seen these people, not seen these churches? What's the connection been like for you over the years?
Yeah, it's honestly much different. And so maybe this is where I even get to represent the majority of our churches who get to hear these stories secondhand. But I think when you still hear the stories, they're just as compelling. Mm-hmm. When you see the videos or the pictures or hear the stories from these guys or from Mark or Ryan or whoever's coming back, it's hard not to be moved and stirred and to know that the work we're doing here and the generosity we're able to cultivate here has such a crazy impact all the way over there. It almost feels too out of reach, but then we get the stories that brought back, and it's like genuinely like amazing, because it just takes, I think, my money, my generosity, our church's collective generosity, and just blows up like our worldview, and we get to see such a bigger story than maybe what we see if we're just here in our hometowns.
Yeah. I was about, 7 or 8 years ago on the Zoe front. I actually am the only one of the three of us that's gotten to go out and see Zoe International firsthand in Thailand, and to get a chance to see the operation, knowing that it's grown immensely in the 7 years since I've been out there. It's been really exciting to watch the development. I think for all of us, the opportunity to be involved in ending human trafficking is something like that's an absolute premium. And we just see justice issues, gospel issues, like what can we do in this world with financial resources, and to see a Christ-centered approach to putting an end to human trafficking in a nation like Thailand and around the world. It just feels like, okay, we want to be behind that. And so Zoe's just been a great partner for so many years now, and we've really enjoyed seeing what God's doing over there.
And it's hard not to be excited about that work, right? Even if you're not immediately connected to it. But I think also the reality, we live in Southern California, and we live in one of the wealthiest areas in the world. But the advantage to that for the gospel is our money goes so far to most of the world. And so as we think about the guys on the ground in Nepal, or Zoe in Thailand, or other parts of the world where they're at, like dimes on the dollar. Our money goes so far in rescuing kids out of human trafficking and sex slavery, and connecting with and encouraging pastors, remote pastors on the ground in Nepal.
Yeah. And I think, as we start to talk about Zoe a little bit, I think one of the things that's been blown my mind is getting to see the founders. Mike and Carol, they started out here. They were Santa Clarita, right? And they were in the film industry, and they were doing a really, really good job. And you guys, this is what's crazy to me. They up and left it in their prime. And they just sensed God's call and said, hey, we can't keep doing what we're doing. And they hung it up, and they moved to Thailand. That's nuts. And I think so many times we can get really stuck in ruts, and sometimes we can lose picture or sight of could God ever do something like that with me? And so I think one of the things I love to look back at is hearing some of these stories, not just as awesome opportunities for us to give, but also look how God stirs faith and generosity together. And it's oh my goodness. And so, this relationship was really birthed through another relationship with the Regan Strives. They had a connection here. And then we met Mike and Carol, and we heard, I'm telling you guys, you want to hear somebody preach the gospel like crazy? Mike's fantastic, but Carol, oh my gosh, she brings the heat. It is amazing to see the love of God just pour out of her, the passion that she has. And then she passed it on, and we'll talk about this in another moment, but she passed it on to Vicky, who's out here at Zoe LA. And it's just been such a joy to see that partnership increase. And then, like you both have said, who doesn't want to be involved in helping play a role in stopping sex trafficking and human trafficking throughout the world? And the fact that Zoe is doing it not for purely justice reasons, but also because of justice reasons, they're motivated firmly by the gospel. And that is so beautiful. And you can find them online really easy and learn more about them. But it has been such a joy to both partner with Touch Nepal and Zoe over the years. And honestly, we can't urge you guys enough. Be praying and consider now, how is God stirring you to participate and join this year and celebrate generosity as we engage with these global initiatives?
Yeah, I think probably one of the best things you can do immediately after watching this video is to go on their websites, Touch Nepal, gozoe.org. Go check out their websites and just watch the videos of the stories, read about what their mission is, see the work they're doing, and genuinely let that inform a bit of your prayer life over the next couple of weeks, and just see how God produces a heart for people far from you and in totally different scenarios than you live in.
If you've been a part of CellGen in years past, you've heard this.
You mean Celebrate Generosity?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The long version would be
gotcha.
Celebrate Generosity.
Gotcha, okay.
We don't got time for the full words. Gotta wrap this video
we got
up.
things to do. One of the goals that we try and communicate is that generosity is part of our gospel story. So being motivated to give is not just based on what we're giving to, but also at the same time, we want to talk about, look at the things that we're giving to and how potent and exciting and powerful these opportunities are to invest in. So it's really a both and. So what Bert's saying about go do the research, see these things, it's not just to like inspire you to give more, but it is to be aware of what we're giving to.
That's right.
We do want our giving to come from that place of God, what are you putting on my heart right now? What are you saying to us? Like we love that, and we want to see it, our lives in Jesus grow as generous believers. But we also want to make sure that money goes to these amazing places. So it's a beautiful both and. I love that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's us for today. So thank you guys for taking some time to watch this. We're super grateful that you are participating with us in our family of churches, Celebrate Generosity. As you can see, Josh is not here. Denver will be doing Celebrate Generosity in November, and we're really excited to have them be a part of that in, just a little bit behind us.
That's right.
So, that's kind of, they're in a a different time zone. I think that's what happened.
That's right.
An hour translates to a month.
That's right.
Via video. Yeah.
It's COVID. An hour
Time
is
has
a
no
month,
meaning.
and a month is an hour.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.